Good morning, everybody. What is shaking? It is your boy, Jason Gulick. I am here with my co-host, my friend, my Eve of Thanksgiving, Roll Dog, Mark Deeds Klodzinski. And joining us today is Cameron
Hello,
Graham,
hello,
with
hello,
Lucid
hello.
Bots Inc. What happened? Are you there, Deeds? Oh well, Cameron's still here, so we're just
I'm
gonna
here.
keep
Hold on.
yeah, we're gonna keep plugging away. Deeds will pop back in every now and again. Sometimes he gets frozen.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today, Cameron. We really appreciate you taking the time. I
Mhm.
know it's typically a travel day for a lot of people. So let me tell you a little bit about myself real quick, and then when Deeds gets unfrozen, he can tell you a little bit about himself too. Uh,
Perfect.
there he is. Again, my name is Jason Gulick. I run a residential window cleaning business out in Phoenix, Arizona. I am strictly a window cleaner. Mark does a little bit of everything, but he does some window cleaning, some gutter cleaning, some Christmas light installation. He's kind of a jack of all trades. But as you know, I was able to get out to your one of your guys' um, I guess demonstrations out in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was amazing. It's really hard to kind of try to explain or to tell a window washer how a drone is going to help you clean windows. So for me to be able to get that hands-on experience was, this is Fred, by the way, was
Hey, Fred.
absolutely nails. Hey, Deeds, now that you're back, why don't you introduce yourself to Cameron real quick?
Oh, hi, Cameron. My name is Mark. I live in Houston, Texas. I'm a one-man cleaning machine. I'm basically a residential cowboy. I do, 85% residential, 50% commercial, gutter cleaning, Christmas lights, pressure washing, window cleaning. But I follow the drone industry a little bit, and I'm interested to see what you guys have to say today. So it's welcome aboard.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Great. So,
Yeah,
Jason,
so
sorry, go ahead.
okay, go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was just saying, how long have you been with Lucid Bots, Cameron?
So I've been there about a year and a half now. The company was founded about 8 years ago. So our CEO was a Davidson University graduate, and he kind of was walking to class one day and saw some guys cleaning windows, rappelling from a swing stage off the side of a building, and kind of said that seems incredibly dangerous as a way to clean commercial buildings. Ended up doing some research and found that there's a death in the US every 4 days from somebody in the cleaning industry falling.
Oh,
Wow.
So, he kind of put his head down and with drones being an up and coming thing, thought of this idea to build cleaning drones for the purpose of, window cleaning, soft washing, whatever it may be. So, kind of fast forward COVID, they had to kind of make a pivot to sanitation and disinfecting drones for a couple years though there while everything was shut down. And then, ever since, we've kind of been growing at a rapid pace. When I started at the company a year and a half ago, I think I was probably around the 40th employee. We're close to about 80 employees now working there. So it's really taking off and making a pretty big impact on the cleaning industry.
and you mentioned to us off air also that you did not get your start in the sales department. Where did you start off with Lucid?
Correct. Yeah. So I was hired on a rotation. So I actually started in manufacturing. So for my first couple months there, I was, building the drones, and prior to that, I had virtually no experience with drones. The Lucid drone was actually the very first drone I've ever flown in my life, which is a little bit scary. I think most people get their start with like a hobbyist drone, but it was very very cool to see the process and really just learn through doing and being able to build these things. So um, yeah, after that, ended up moving over to the sales department, and who knows from here.
Are you currently a licensed pilot?
Yes, yep. So almost everybody at the company has their Part 107 license outside of, some people in like the finance or engineering department. Our CEO is very big on, if we're asking our customers to be able to do this, all of us should be able to do it as well. So just kind of
I get it.
prove by example. Yeah. So I had, kind of we have these courses available, and if you were to decide to make the purchase or rent or whatever it may be, we send you over the course. And I personally took it for about a week after work. Every day I'd go home and watch the videos for a couple hours a night, and took it the next week. So it's a relatively simple process to go about getting your license. It's the same license for commercial real estate photographers or surveyors. So it's a generic commercial drone license. So most of the questions are based around, not flying near commercial airports or military operations, or whatever it may be, keeping the ground clear of pedestrians, things like that. So it's basic safety stuff for the drone. So
Yeah. Now, so as guys who are cleaners, I'm a traditional cleaner. I was a traditional cleaner for 17 years. About
nice.
3 years ago, I invested in some water fed equipment. Now, I was a skeptic on water fed for many, 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 many moons.
Yep.
Um, and I didn't, I wanted to get my hands on something. It's kind of like what you mentioned about the boss wanted you to be able to do it, right? Be able to be behind the wheel, to know exactly what's what, right? So
Right.
I went to a convention and I got my hands on, physically hands on a water fed equipment, had a pro explain it to me one on one, so I kind of understood what to do. You can only watch so many YouTube videos or so many people flying a drone, right?
Hmm.
Until you get your hands on one. I was After I got my water fed equipment, I realized, hey, there is a purpose for this. It does work, yada yada yada. Same with the drone equipment for my experience. Right? So Mark and I are doing this podcast and we share information with a bunch of our friends in pro window cleaning. And I feel it's necessary for he and I, or myself especially, if we're going to be talking about these things, if we're going to be showing our friends, we consider them family, we're going to show and share our family information, we better damn well be capable of doing some of this stuff and or have at least had the experience to get our hands on it. Uh,
Sure.
so Lucid Bots had a demo out here in Scottsdale. I was lucky enough to get out there. I was like one of the first dudes to get their hands on the machine and on the joystick or whatever the controller,
Hmm.
and was able to get flying. And
Yeah.
it was pretty I gotta say, it was pretty easy. It was step by step, somebody walking me through it. I can definitely see how it would um, create different revenue streams, and I can
Sure.
see how it would definitely be interesting. Um, how are people connecting the drones to waterfed, and where do you find it to be most like? How do you find it to be most beneficial?
Yeah, absolutely. And take it back to like what you had said about the water fed poles. And, we obviously in the window cleaning industry there's a ton of skepticism around the effectiveness of just touchless cleaning in general.
Hmm.
So similar to the water fed pole, I think it's a tool for a specific job. So I think we had even touched about this when I had first reached out to you. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, you're likely not using water fed poles on a residential job, unless it's a higher up window that you can't reach from outside. Most of that work is going to be done with mop and squeegee.
Yeah.
So on the window cleaning side, it's going to be case by case, and the touchless application I think is super super beneficial for recurring jobs. So you would not do a window restoration job, or a property that hasn't been touched in 10, 15 years, or if there's extremely heavy buildup on the window, the drone probably is not the best application for work like that. What we see most guys doing for on the window cleaning side would be, something like commercial office buildings, or hotel properties, things like that, where the property manager wants to set up, almost like a set it and forget it, like 1 year recurring contracts where they're going out and they're able to quickly and effectively, you know, clean the property, without having to bring in boom lifts or repelling equipment. And it's just a much quicker process to be able to fly around the building versus moving equipment all the way around the property.
Got it. So I don't remember if it was you or so I talked with, I believe you, and I had another conversation with another gentleman, I believe from marketing, and then I had another conversation. We had multiple conversations before I actually went out to the facility,
Yeah,
and I relayed the information. Hey, we've got skeptics, right?
totally.
And
Yeah,
I wanted my friends, our friends to be able to ask some questions or maybe ask, point out flaws that they might see.
sure.
One of the things that I noticed, like we were talking about specific applications, right?
Hmm.
Building that I went to had metal overhang awnings, and from my understanding, I did not go on the roof to look, but from my understanding, there weren't tie-offs.
Right.
So at that specific building, there's other than a boom lift or like a scissor or whatever, there's not really any other ways to get it clean.
Yeah.
Um, so I found it to be what looked like to be an extremely effective way to get stuff done. Uh,
Hmm.
one of our listeners and watchers, Jake, wants to know. He wants to see the results after spraying the windows without agitation. You're not removing built up dirt. Are these drones to just make things look a little better? I get how these could work for soft washing and pressure washing, but I can't see these things doing quality work on windows. Now, I want to say from my experience when I was there, um, I didn't get a look view from inside the room, right? And
Sure.
that was
Sure.
one benefit or one thing takeaway that I would have loved to have been able to see. But from my perspective on the outside, Jake, I'm going to answer what I saw. The amount of pressure that was coming out of the stream, it was high. I mean, I can't tell you how many feet per second or whatever the terminology is, but it was some serious power. So if you
Hmm.
were to actually spray the entire window up, down, left, right, side, whatever, I I can't see how much else is going to stay on there.
Yeah.
Um, but again, I didn't see the results from the inside. I can just see from what I was doing from the outside. Uh,
Sure.
do you have any response or like maybe a better way to word that?
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. One of the things about the demo too that it's tough when we do these cross country trips. We're sending the drone out there, we're sending a team out there, but we don't
Send me the
have like
drones.
a professional window cleaning system. So,
Yeah.
we're essentially renting equipment from I believe it was probably Sunbelt. So we had, basically a standalone homeowner grade pressure washer. So there was no DI filtration system when you guys saw
Mhm.
it. So it was basically raw water.
Yeah,
And I believe there was chemical in the tank. They showed you how the injector works and everything.
they did.
Okay.
I wasn't paying too much attention to all that. I wanted to see the effectiveness of how basically everything else. I'm one of those guys. I don't need to know how it works. I just need to know that it works. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt with the water fed system to begin with. I still don't necessarily know how it works. I just know that it works.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I like to explain the drone as simply a delivery system to bring whatever ground-based systems you have up to the air without having to, put a guy up on a boom. Similar to, I guess, a water-fed pole where you're feeding water from a ground-based pump system. So I think what most guys are doing is they're using their DI filtration system and then filling a holding tank of some sort, and then you use a high pressure pump and connect that directly to the drone. And then on the drone itself, we have an onboard tank that holds window cleaning surfactant. So we've worked with a couple companies, and there's a bunch more out on the market for touch-free surfactants for windows. So I think the chemical, improves year over year, and they're getting better and better. So essentially, the drone is a way to bring your cleaning up to that height, and then you're putting on your surfactant, and then you're coming back through and rinsing with that DI or RO filtered water, and cleaning it under pressure. So you're it's entirely exterior cleaning based, so you're still gonna have to have a team come in and do the interior of the windows.
Yeah, of course.
So um, I think for commercial applications, it's amazing. We like to relate it to say like a dishwasher. When a dishwasher first came out, people would say, there's no way, you're just spraying water and soap onto dishes that it's going to get clean.
Yeah,
You're not going to put the pot that's been, sitting
on the
roasting
stove.
something for hours and hours on end, you're not going to throw it straight in there. So it's not for every single job, but the jobs that it does apply for, we've got guys that had consistently been cleaning buildings for years on end, and a job that would take them 5 days before is now taking them a day and a half or 2 days to get done. They don't have that overhead of equipment rentals. Their insurance is a lot better because they're keeping guys on the ground. You're not having guys way up in the air, and getting those insane insurance premiums and the liability. So I think there's a bunch of benefits to it, but it's a tool for a specific job. It's not the end all be all. You're not going to be using this on one-story residential houses or anything. It's a way to break into that commercial market that you otherwise wouldn't have. So like you had said before, you come across a commercial building that doesn't have uh, anchor points, or it makes it very difficult to access, or you can't get lift equipment in because of landscaping around the building. It's a way to get those jobs done that wasn't possible before that.
Deeds, what questions do you have so far on this? I mean, I know you and I joke around and we kind of not necessarily scoff, but at the same point, we're like, all right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
So
So
where's
it's got
you
a
at on this?
uh, proprietary like a soap tank, surfactant tank in the drone itself hovering. I'm just wondering why it would be up there instead of just being downstreamed and then shot through the hose. Is it like a counterweight or
No, you could run it either way. So we've seen
gotcha?
guys downstream it, or premix on the ground directly into their holding tank. It's simply to make it more efficient with switching back and forth between surfactant and then.
Does it have a remote? Are you able to like turn off
Yeah,
surfactant, turn
so
on
it's literally
surfactant?
there's one switch on the remote that's spray on and off, and then the other switch is your injector. So
It's
it's
like a
basically a
toggle.
miniature
Yeah,
downstream on the drone itself. So you can turn that on, you're spraying chem, you flip it off, you're right back to rinsing off.
neat, cool. And what's the battery life? I mean, you probably have two packages. You have basic and then extendor. Like, do you have like 30 minutes and an hour? Or?
So it's actually closer to 15 or 20 minutes per cycle.
Sure.
But currently we are in development of a power tether. So we've had a lot of guys come to us and say, we have enough batteries for the job, but landing, it's a simple process to switch them out. But just to
Uh,
increase efficiency, we've made it so that you can plug directly into a ground-based generator system. And
cool.
then, your flight is, as long as you have chem in the tank, you're able to keep going. So,
Awesome. Yeah, that's smart.
yep.
So Deeds, I found that the control, the controller, joystick, analog, whatever it is, was pretty
Yep.
outstanding. I guess I flew, it's called the Sherpa. Is that right, Cameron?
Yep. Yep.
The drone I flew was called the Sherpa, and it has a nice little monitor on the joystick. It
Cool.
also had some safety features. It wouldn't allow you to get any closer than like I think 9 or 10 feet to the building. You can physically like you can see up at the building what you're doing, but you can also look direct down at the screen
Yeah.
because obviously if once it gets to a certain point, you're not going to be able to see how high. But
Right.
I thought it was pretty neat. I thought it was pretty effective. It
Well,
was,
there are a lot of applications. Like you were saying, landscaping, the bars in front of it, uh, water towers, for example, stuff anything over a boom lift really can't reach out and touch. Uh, so it is
yeah.
neat. I mean, technology is moving close, and as the tethering, as long as you can power that drone from the ground, you're just going to tether the optic cable or something. Then you guys will be a business. I mean, that's I don't know if it's game changing, but that's awesome.
No, you're right. Absolutely. And we also built it so that there's a fail-safe. You will have one battery still on board. So,
Of course.
you forget to put gas in the generator at the beginning
Oh,
of the job.
it
You're not out,
disconnected.
you're not out a
Boom.
drone, so you're
Yeah,
you're able to safely land it and, get the generator situation figured out. So,
smart. Yeah.
you're right. It's going to be an absolute game changer.
So I hear, we have another friend of ours who just popped in, and he is a drone pilot. I believe he owns his own stuff as well. I'm not sure which brand, or I don't even know how many brands there are of these. I don't know how. This is all Greek to me, so I'm trying to learn it all now, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure which equipment he uses or what have you. But one of the things that I'm hearing from a lot of people in our industry is um, if you don't, you have one drone, you have one drone. but you kind of have a problem because you really need two. In case of, anything happens or getting shut down or issues. Is that something that you guys are combating? Is that something that you're trying to make it better to where you're because I don't know if other people's equipment differs from yours. What
Mhm.
kind of warranties do you have? Is it really necessary to own two? Some of the disbelief or some of the beliefs that people may have that you might be able to um, relay some better answers for?
Yeah, totally. So I would say most of our customers have one drone to start. And I think one of the things that really separates us from a lot of our competition is that, we're based here in the United States. So all of our manufacturing, all of our repairs, and, all of our customer support is based here in the US. So we do have a 2-year warranty on our products. I believe it's a 1-year warranty that you can extend through something we call Lucid Suite, which gives you up to a 2-year warranty on the product. And then we also developed a loaner program. So say you were to have an issue with the drone, say you were to have a crash or something like that, we're able to overnight ship you another drone so that you're able to continue with the job that you're working on. So there will be a delay, obviously, and I know that is one of the biggest things that cleaners face is like equipment
Yeah.
based downtime is like it's one of the worst things you could possibly have for your business. So we're really focused on doing everything that we possibly can to eliminate that. So one of the upgrades that we've made. So you when you were out of the demo site, you flew the Sherpa 1.5. So
Okay.
one of the biggest upgrades we made from the 1.0 to the 1.5 was making it more modular with parts that typically will end up failing. So a lot of the guys that are spraying, SH or bleach when they're doing soft washing. If over time, if they're not really rinsing the equipment off afterwards, if that sits on the motors and builds up,
It'll
you
eat.
can eventually get some motor failures.
Yep.
So we've made it so that if people want to have, motors and arms fully assembled just on deck in their inventory, they're able to really easily, pop the top off and swap those out. Same with propellers, proportioning valves, things like that. So the most, or I guess the parts that have the most failures, we've made extremely easy to replace on site. And then for issues that can't be replaced in the field, we have the loaner program available so that people are able to get another drone and keep going with the job.
Awesome. So that's nice to have a backup plan. It's nice to have somebody or a organization or a group that has your back like that. One of the pilots, one of the guys says, "Have you talked about the Department of Defense certified product? Is this all drones or a specific model?" I don't know. Again, that's Greek. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe you can explain.
Yes, and I'm
But
not super fluent, I guess is the word on the approval ratings, but I know for a fact we're going through that right now, and within the next couple months, we're going to be both green and blue certified across the board. So I believe the U.S. is really having a big push right now to bring drone manufacturing in-house or domestic.
Yeah.
So the
yep.
drone industry is almost entirely run by, DJI and other Chinese-based companies right now. And that was one of the cornerstones of Lucid was, we need these things to be built in the United States. We need our data staying here and not going overseas.
Yep.
So it was really important to our CEO to be able to hit those benchmarks. So we're going through the process right now of getting all the certifications, our CE mark. So that we're very close to that.
That's awesome. And you mentioned about the power tether earlier. That was something I forget who I was talking with when I was on the ground in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Two guys were really awesome. There was about four or five of them there, but two of them really took a lot of time trying to answer my questions. He did mention that you guys are hopefully expecting quarter one or quarter two of 2026 for that extra power, that power tethering to be ready and good to go.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah, I think it's
exciting.
almost definitely slated for Q1 at this point.
Holy shit.
Don't want to misspeak on that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we have customers that already have it that are beta testing in the field. So we've done, all the testing on our end. We've sent it out to some of our, you know, some of our most seasoned customers, our best customers to
Yeah.
try out the product in the field. So I'm thinking, almost a guarantee that we have it ready within the next month or two.
That's outstanding. So 2026 is going to be kicking off with a bang for you
Big
guys.
year, big year. Yes, sir.
That's outstanding. Um, where, how often do you guys do the demos? And when are can you give me 5 dates of the next upcoming ones, maybe? I mean,
So
we have guys in Colorado, we have guys in Ohio, we have gals in, uh,
Ohio,
I think Carolina. I know you guys are in North Carolina, right?
yes, sir.
North.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have some friends in North Carolina. We have friends in South Carolina. We got friends in Utah. They're all over the place. But where are some of the next dates that you guys are going to be doing the demos, and um, how can they get signed up for some of those?
Yeah, and I will say going into the winter season right now,
Yeah.
it's a little bit tougher to do, anywhere in the northern half of the country. So I think we've kind of taken a little bit of a pause and we're really starting to work on our 2026 demos right now. We host them in-house at any given time. If somebody wants to come out to our facility in Charlotte, they could come out, I guess not tomorrow, but maybe the day after, not on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, but we
Ohio,
host demos
Ohio.
in-house all the time. But
Dubois.
I'm one of the firmest believers in this that, this is a product that people need to see and hold in their hands to really understand. And you said it yourself. I mean, from the process from when I had first just reached out to you, like a cold reach out, you were like, yeah, it sounds great. I need to see it. So I think we're really going to be ramping up our demo calendar and our availability for demos. Being that we're a small company, I think in Scottsdale, you probably met
Un
Hayden and
poquito.
Baker on the ground out there, who are I think the demo pilots. That is our whole demo team right now. So as we grow and expand with the company, I'm really hoping we put a lot of focus into the demo department because I think it really is a product that people need to see in action to understand, you know,
Well, I know it firsthand too. I mean, and I told you guys from the jump, look, I'm not in any market to go out and buy a drone right now, and um it's not really in my business model.
Mhm.
However, I can see the benefits. And as I mentioned, like I really need to know how to operate these things. I know how to explain them to my friends. So if they have questions, that we can get the answers. And I really do think that the demo is the best way to do that.
Yeah,
One of our pilots also mentioned seeing demos. The onboard soap appears to be spraying out of a similar nozzle to and zero foam. I found that foaming surfactant is the only way to effectively pull dirt off the window in place in suspension to rinse. Do you have a solution? Hold on, sorry. Do you have a solution to foam the soap without landing? Because his current drone must be landed to achieve this. Did I?
interesting. Okay. I to be honest, don't have an answer to that question.
I
I'd have
probably
to
didn't.
get
He
back
just
to you
said
on
you
that.
can rephrase my question too. I probably didn't answer it in the best manner, but um, I
You got to
he'll
tweak
probably ask
the
again.
nozzles to get it foamy, I think.
So
Okay.
he almost, yeah, needs it to be aerated as it's coming out of the nozzle, is what he's saying, or
I think that's what it sounds like.
okay,
He likes foam.
sure, yeah.
But he was saying, can you do it from in the air as opposed to on the ground?
So we don't have, to answer his question, there's no system in the onboard tank that agitates the surfactant while it's in the holding tank.
Hmm.
I would imagine you could probably achieve that through a different nozzle tip that you're spraying with. So uh, I guess while you're doing that, I'm not sure if that would affect, the consistency
Spray
of the spray
radius, or yeah,
if you lose distance if you were doing that if it had to be more aerated as it was coming out. I'm not super sure on that one.
Get the
yeah, a lot
scientists
of
on the
different
answer.
things. A lot of things would change. Obviously, like the power, the pressure, it would have to be adjusted. So I get that. I get how that could be an issue. Um, Deeds, what other questions do you have? I mean, I know. I thought it was going to be kind of like us, like not goofing, but like, all right, how does this work? How do Because I know how you and I are with this, Mark. Like, what are some of the other questions or disbeliefs that you may have?
Oh, I mean, I just Drones are drones are expensive, and for like a one man band type deal, it's kind of out of our reach, if you will.
Yes.
So that eliminates a lot of market for you guys. But the applications, cleaning water towers, cleaning under bridges, removing rust from high areas that you don't want to repel from, that you need high volume capacity water, all
Mhm.
that stuff is amazing. And you know, we don't realize this, but in like 2 years, all of our shit's going to be delivered on Amazon with a drone. So
Yeah.
it's coming
Yeah.
to a head. All this stuff is it's emerging, and you guys with Lucid Bots, it's you guys got a cool company. I've checked a lot of your videos out and seen what you guys are doing, and it is the future. There are a lot of companies that there are small guys like Mason and them who are getting into the drone industry, and they're flying. They're liking it. So
Yeah.
there will be some of us in the group that are going to jump in with both feet and get into it. It's just a pretty big capital investment to start. But if you've got the customers and you can sell the jobs, go for it.
Sure. Yeah. And I think on the window cleaning side, especially, it's a big upfront equipment cost as well outside of the drone. So like,
Sure.
you have your DI filtration system. I guess you would need something, that is able to filter enough water to then put in a holding tank, and then you need a high pressure pump to then deliver it, which, with the water fed pole, you're not really using as robust equipment as you would need to really effectively deliver that pressure with a drone. So,
Sure.
um, you know, it's it's definitely an upfront capital investment. One of the things we've done to combat that is our rental program through Sunbelt.
Uh,
So we've seen a lot of guys go that route where, for their first couple jobs, they'll rent the drone, to just be able to, I guess, proof of concept. Can they go out and market themselves and win these taller commercial jobs?
yeah. Can
That
I
they're
make money with this?
exactly, yes, and be able to make money with it. So once it gets to the point where, financing is then cheaper than renting, it makes sense to bring it in-house. But
Sure.
that's one of the bigger points we get, as I'm calling people throughout the day. Like a lot of people are like, I think it's awesome. I'm a residential guy. I do storefront commercial. How do I then grow into, these taller commercial jobs? How do I even market it? A lot of business for these guys is word of mouth, Facebook, Nextdoor, kind of, um, more on the residential side, whereas commercial it is an entirely different beast to be able to get into that market.
So another question we have is, are you finding like Deeds mentioned water tower, right?
Mhm.
Water tower windmill projects are government or private industry? If the government, what sub industry is that in for the government projects?
Sorry, one more time.
Oh.
I don't know.
Just
Are
wonder
you
what
finding?
government industry do you contact if you want to clean water towers and stuff? And I just put municipal and utilities because sometimes it's mud district, sometimes it is city of X utilities,
Yes.
or government. I don't do any of the government type contracts, but might be able to
Right.
speak for those.
Yeah, I think it would be local government. So I think it would be going through whatever, if it's state owned or city owned, you just have to find your avenue through to get to whatever person is in charge of the municipalities. Um, I think government contracts are tricky, but the benefit there is that they have a preset budget year over year for their cleaning and maintenance and landscaping. So if you can come in with an attractive enough pitch, I'll be in and out of here in less than half the time as the guy using a boom lift or rappelling. Your liability is significantly lower. Nobody's up in the air. We're all standing safe on the ground. And I think there's a huge market on the government contract, and even things like we see a ton of guys going after universities as well.
Oh,
You
sure.
go to college university, almost every campus building, whether it's an educational building or student housing or whatever it may be, they're all 3, 4, 5, 6 stories.
Yeah.
And
So some rich old lady paid for that 30 years ago or
exactly,
75 years ago,
exactly,
and
yep.
money is still coming from that annuity. They got to clean
That
it.
that's right, exactly right. Yeah,
That's outstanding. So I was just like you mentioned school. I just got Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona. There's this one really large dorm that everybody that's ever been down there has seen. It has crazy ass triangle windows, just like they're stacked up, up and down, up and down, up and down. Uh,
sure.
that would be something amazing to get done. I could
Yeah.
totally see something like, because what a pain in the ass that would be to clean anyways. But
Uh,
also the upside down and right side up triangles stacked next to each other, just seeing it, that would be pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah. I think architects recently, within
Yeah,
the
they
last
don't like us.
Yeah, you'd have
at
to use
all,
your
yeah,
obtuse squeegee.
there is no thought on the cleaning process after the building is built. They want it to look great on paper, and then after the project is built. But as far as accessing it afterwards to be able to clean, there's just almost no thought, it seems, when these guys are designing these buildings.
Plus, nobody
Not
wants
at
to clean
all.
the glass at an airport when you're looking in those glass bathrooms and the stalls. You want to get a drone up there and just
Yeah, true.
get it from the ground.
Yep, exactly.
So, if you were like, if you were a window cleaning business, or like I said, most of us are solo op owners, and you just wanted to get into it, get your feet wet, I'm guessing you'd first go to a demo. If it really started to float your boat and gain some interest, maybe do a rental, try it out a few times, and then how do you go about purchasing? Do you guys do finance? How does it work?
Yeah, yeah. So we have a couple different options for purchasing. We have lenders that'll either take a look at, you can use personal credit, you can use business credit. I've heard loan terms as short as 6 months to all the way up to 5 years. So it really depends on how quickly, excuse me, you think you can get it, the work lined up to get it paid off.
Yeah.
If you're only using a couple commercial jobs a year, it might make sense for a longer term. If we've seen whale hunters, we like to call them, that are just going out there and they just want to bang out that one $80,000 hotel or whatever
Yeah,
it may be.
we have a couple of those. I think one of them is in the chat.
Yeah, cool, cool. Yeah.
And I honestly think that that is kind of the way to go. Uh,
Hmm.
and I can't tell anybody how to run their business or whatever, but I was talking with the gentleman that was doing the demo with me, and it's like, look, I don't have the equipment to do this now, but if I had this, it would make me want to actively seek buildings that I want to work on. And
Hmm.
if you don't have a tool like this, or for residential cleaners, if you don't have a water fed tool, if you don't have the proper ladders, you can't bid on certain jobs because you
Totally.
simply just
Yeah.
cannot do the work. Now, if you have something like this, then you can go bid on whatever the fuck you want, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. And
and
I
it
would say
makes
our most,
it kind of
sorry,
makes it more fun.
totally. Yeah. And I would say our most successful customers are the guys that have super diverse lines of work where they're doing soft washing, window cleaning, pressure cleaning, whatever it may be, and they're willing to travel, knowing that they're going to get these huge contracts and be home for the rest of the month afterwards, just
Yeah.
because of how much they were able to make. Um, and I really think that's one of the smartest ways to go about it. We do our customer success department will really harp on the fact that they want people kind of going on this crawl, walk, run approach where your first job should not be the Sphere in Las Vegas or something.
Yeah.
They would like to see, they're really good about consulting people on their jobs. We've had a ton of people send an address of a hotel property, and they're able to take a look at it and they say, like, that looks really good. This side of the building over here where those trees are at, you might want to be really careful and kind of hit it from either angle. Don't fly between the tree and the building. That overhang might be a little bit of an issue. You don't want to be underneath that, so maybe just shoot that from the ground if you can reach it. So they're really a massive resource for guys that are just getting into it to be able to confidently, you know, to be able to bid on these jobs and be able to confidently deliver a clean after they've done it.
So let's say that somebody like myself, or the gentleman who's been asking a couple of the questions, Mason, right? Let's say Mason
Mhm.
has his drone. You can go up, not only, and if he buys the solutions to do soft wash, it would almost be more effective to price it as, or bid it as a soft wash and window clean.
Yep.
I mean, you're effectively doing two things. You might as well bill and charge for it, right? So you're adding another stream of revenue and or a whole different type of business without really doing anything different than you're already doing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so that's another thing too, is like bundle services where you come in and you sell the entire property clean. So we have guys that'll only do soft washing, they don't touch windows.
Yeah, I
And
have some of those too.
yeah, you're missing out on, half the cost of the job because you're then subcontracting another guy to come in and do windows. So, I think being able to diversify yourself and provide a full package service is going to really set you apart. Because on the property manager side of things too, they would rather deal with one person on the phone, one company to come out, do the cleaning, write one check at the end of the day. They want their process to be simple as well. So I
Yes.
think that makes it a lot easier on their end as well, and makes you the more attractive bid if you can provide the full service.
Everybody likes to be the attractive bid, right?
That's right. That's right.
Our buddy Jake Van O, he says, look, did I hear this right? A battery lasts about 15, 20 minutes. If so, how many batteries do you have to have on site to do, let's say, a five-story soft wash? What is
Yep.
a common, so real quick too, I know the answer partially. Um, how quickly do they charge?
Yep, exactly. So our more robust battery package comes with 8 total batteries. So the drone runs on two at a time, and we send you out with 2 fast chargers as well. So you get, 15 to 20 minutes of flight time per set. You're then able to swap those batteries off, plug them into the fast charger, and then throw a new set on, and you're back to flying in 2 or 3 minutes. The fast chargers charge in about 35 to 40 minutes to empty to full charge. So you're able to constantly cycle through batteries throughout the day on the job. Look, you've got a drone right there.
Yeah, so Deeds is awesome. He has his setup in the
Yeah,
garage, and he had his little helicopter and WCR helicopter and a little drone handy too. But we don't have any hoses, or we don't have any water equipment connected to it.
no, got nothing on there. On
Uh,
the tool around.
so Jake, that hope that answers your question. You said about 30 to 45 minutes for a full charge. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, 35 to 40 minutes for a full charge on the battery. So you're able to cycle them throughout the day. So if you have 4 sets of batteries, you're essentially flying, full time. You just essentially would have to land to swap them out. Similar to a power tool, like a cordless power tool, where you go to a job, you have whatever batteries you would need for the day for like a hand drill or something like that. And it definitely it takes a little bit of pre-planning, but people get used to it very quickly, where that is something that you're thinking about is your batteries and cycling them throughout the job. But with 4 sets of batteries, we have almost never heard of any complaints of people like I'm sitting around waiting for batteries to charge. I'm not able to get through the entire day. But we've had guys with four batteries be able to go 12, 14-hour days, constantly cycling through the batteries with almost no stoppage.
What how large was the one that I was flying? Sherpa, was it a 1.0, 1.5? Which one was it? What is the largest one, I guess, and what's the best size comparison to it, if you can think of one?
Yeah, so the Sherpa 1.0 and 1.5 are actually the exact same size, and that is our cleaning drone right now. So it's not like there's a bunch of different size models that we have. It's a roughly, I would say, about 2 to 2.5 feet tall, and then with all the arms opened up and extended out, probably 4.5 or 5 foot across wingspan.
Yeah.
Um, for size comparison,
I'm
uh,
trying to think of what something like the same size,
yeah, yeah.
Like a
like a
Power Wheel
small
car.
round table. I mean, that's
Sure. Yeah, a smaller coffee table or like nightstand or something, maybe. I don't.
I'm
Uh,
even looking at my kitchen table, and it's about, it's about the same size. It was it looked like it, and I wouldn't know of a well-built or not well-built machine, but the one that I was flying looked really well manufactured. Everything looked stable. Flying it was super steady, which was another thing that I found to be pretty reassuring. I wasn't nervous, going lifting up or setting down. It was a pretty cool experience, and I'm really glad I got the opportunity to do it. Um, you mentioned that right now with the winter season coming up, you guys are you dialing back the demos? Are there a few coming up? Is there any that you'd like to let our friends know about?
So the marketing team usually takes care of that, and it's based on inbound interest, and we have people call in all the time, like, hey, I'm down in Orlando or Houston, Dallas, whatever it may be. Like, I'd love to see a demo of this thing. We essentially with our traveling demos, we try to group as many people together in an area as possible just to get the most viewership of the product
Yeah.
while it's out there. We do offer private demos like at any time. So if you are a very serious, this
Yeah,
is something.
buyer.
Yes, yeah, we will come out for. I think they charge $2,500. So that's to send a couple guys from
Team.
the team out there, ship the drone out, be able to get on site and do like a private demo for your company specifically. And then they will credit that cost if you decide to end up purchasing. So, if you're serious, they will take that $2,500 and put it towards the purchase of the drone down the line.
So there's a young upstart company that was out there while I was doing the demo. Um, they just purchased one, and they're new, so they still had questions in regards to equipment, like
Yeah.
traditional equipment and water fed equipment, but yet they bought a new drone, and
Yep.
I'm excited for them, but also a
A little
little,
nervous.
yeah.
Yes.
Um, I wish them I wish them well, very, very, very much. I just, I, I feel like, man, if I would have had gone that route, my head would explode with too many worries and all this and that. Like, I need to be able to master one skill set before I jump into the big kid pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And I will say about 50% of our inbound leads, which are people that will actively go onto our website, fill out a form and say, "Hey, I'd love some more info on this," are startups that have zero experience in the cleaning industry. And,
yeah,
they
this
see the
dude,
drone and they're like, "I'm going to start a drone company." And I think the guys on our team do a very good job of explaining to these guys like you are starting a cleaning business. The drone is going to be one of your tools that's going to allow you to access jobs that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. But it is very, very important that you learn the ins and outs of the cleaning industry.
yeah, and that's where I was like, damn, he's like, oh yeah, we bought this. And I was like, oh shit, but you're over here asking like questions about other traditional equipment. So you
Sure.
guys are new.
Yeah.
And so I'm wishing them a ton of luck and I hope it works out for them.
And we've seen it go very well. We've
Yeah, I'm
had
sure it
startups,
can.
just really, really succeed and obviously through some trial and error. There's I don't think anything that'll prepare you if you're coming into it, kind of just fully fresh canvas to be able to explain, what chemicals you're using in certain applications. I guess this is more so on the soft wash side, but or to be able to look at a window and determine what kind of buildup you have on there and what it's going to take to get it off. And you know, um, kudos to them. I mean, it's a massive
Yeah, I
undertaking,
thought
just
that
trial
took a
by
big
fire. So and we've had a bunch of them just really be able to succeed using the drone, but man, that's like you said, it's a big investment to be able to learn on the fly like that. So
and dude, it took a huge set of cojones. You know what I mean? Like,
totally,
hey, look,
totally.
I'm just getting started, but I got a big set right here. I'm gonna go invest a ton.
Yeah.
Um, Price points.
Yep.
Can we go over those a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So the Sherpa drone starts at around 40,000. So that would be without the window cleaning payload on it, and that comes with two sets of batteries and a fast charger. And all of these come with, we send out a really nice Pelican carrying case. So it's extremely robust foam insert case that keeps the drone safe. We also send a J rod, a bunch of different nozzle attachments, some replacement propellers, kind of all sorts of things. And then our most robust package would be closer to 57,000, and that includes the window washing payload, and it also doubles your battery count, doubles the amount of fast chargers that you get, um, and that I will say, like you like to your point before, like you can use the normal payload system and premix either on the ground or downstream if you're going to be washing windows. But if you're going to be 100% Windows only, I would recommend using the onboard chemical tank, so the window washing payload for that. So um, we've seen guys kind of go both routes, and you can add it on later on. So like the window
But
washing.
if you're gonna invest 40K, what's another 12? I mean, like
Mhm.
get it done right or to finance or whatever. I mean,
Yeah. And,
I
and
get it.
you can buy any of these attachments later. You can add on the window cleaning payload. You can buy more batteries. You can buy more fast chargers. The payload is 6 screws from the bottom, so the old plate slides out. We can send you the new window washing payload that has the onboard tank and the injector for it, and it literally slots up, slides in, 6 screws to screw it on. So easy enough to swap over later for guys that are, maybe you're primarily a soft washing company and you get a company that's like, great, want you to do this building. We would also love to have the windows done. Here's here's what we'd like you to do it for. And if the bid's big enough to cover it, you're like, okay, now it makes sense. I can add on the window cleaning payload here. So
So I mentioned before, we have quite a few friends that pop in and out. One of our buddies, Craig Hensel, he's a guru. He's been around the industry forever.
mhm.
He is quite eccentric and quite an awesome dude. He wants to have a drone be so far advanced, but to look like the X-Wing from Star Wars. I think that would be pretty legit.
It
What do you
would be. Yes. Yeah. We have jet
Hey,
propulsion on the thing. And yeah, no, that
just
I get,
shooting,
I,
spraying out from the tips of the X? You're like,
oh
whoa,
yeah, there you
that'd be
go.
pretty
I'll
awesome.
have to get with the engineering team after this, see if we can make that happen.
That would be
Maybe that'll be
great.
the Sherpa 2.0. We'll make it an X-wing design.
yep.
Sherpa X. That'd be
Sherpa
dope.
X. There you go.
Get in the
Well,
trenches and drop the payload.
Yeah, there
drop
you
the
go.
payload. So, we really appreciate you popping in today. I know there originally was a little bit of scheduling conflict. You got out of having to go to Atlanta. Where are you? Where are we talking to you from now?
Yeah, so my parents are actually they're retired. I grew up in New Jersey. They live down in near Clemson, South Carolina, the university. So it's probably 2.5 hours from Charlotte. So you guys
Nice.
saved me on a lot of traffic, I'm sure, tonight after work trying to get down here. So
Nice.
You're
One of the
welcome. Glad we could
one
help.
of what were you saying, Deez? I'm sorry.
I said, glad we could help, get you there
appreciate it,
sooner.
appreciate it.
Yeah, he was like, I can't make it to the show. I gotta be in Atlanta. And then luckily you text back and you're like, hey, I got somebody to fill in. So we appreciate you popping in.
Atlanta traffic could just be, I
Oh
couldn't
my
even imagine
gosh.
that the next 3 days. It's kind of like
It's
Houston
like
traffic.
it's like 12 lanes wide of just gridlock anywhere in the city. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. One of the other things that I wanted to bring up to you, I don't know if you're aware of this, but American Window Cleaner magazine, that's one of the magazines that I write for. Um, they help the industry. Deeds has it right there.
Nice.
Um, so a lot of guys, gals, they get this subscription. It comes out monthly. Um, I don't know if you guys have ever thought about advertising in it, but it would be a great spot for you guys to let others know about you and the organization. They do, I mean, not just because I'm a writer, but they do put out some great content, and the photos are always stellar. The organization is amazing. So if you're interested in looking into maybe getting something in print, uh, holler at me later. I'll get you the information to the editor. She's amazing. Her name is Lacey. They're
Sure.
doing all
Yeah.
sorts of great stuff for 2026. I could see definitely something for you guys in the future working with them because they do really put out some great stuff. And one of the cool things that I've found through print also is people still rely on print. People still rely on the mag.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many I've gotten multiple people email me, text me, whatever. Hey man, I really like what you said in the mag. You got, this and that. And come to find out that they're not in any of the pro window cleaning forums, that they're not online, that they're not purchasing from a certain vendor and or from a salesperson.
Sure.
So as a writer and as someone that loves a magazine, I think it would only be natural for you guys to link up. So um, when we get off air, I'll shoot you their email or something like that. And if you guys want to link up, that would be awesome because I know 2026 is going to be huge for AWC. And yeah, and I know it's going to be huge for you guys too. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'd love to talk about that off air as well.
yeah,
That's
she's amazing. The whole organization, they do so much for our community. It's a lot about positivity and making sure that we, the cleaners, the small business owners, the large business owners, get all the proper information that we need. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because you can't do your job right unless you have the proper info. So, uh,
totally. And I
and
think, the information you can get online these days, it's so hard to trust where it's coming from. And I mean, even videos of the drone, I talk to guys all the time. They're like, "Oh, I saw a video on TikTok of, drones firefighting in China or something." And, they're videos of just fully AI videos where there's no hose going to the drone, Bluetooth water, so we like to
Yeah, I
call it.
love those
Yeah, and
Bluetooth.
it's just like, that's people's exposure to them beforehand, and I think there is something to be said about a reputable company printing something about the product versus just what you see on Instagram or
well,
TikTok or whatever it may be.
the mag's been around, I believe, 37 years. They've been around a long time. And speaking of reputable, sources and wanting to have it come from a reputable source, there's a few guys, like I mentioned, that are pilots and that are using drones. Um, One of the reasons I wanted to have you guys on, and we're gonna ask Mason or down the road to be on as well, is because I wanted it to come from a manufacturer, the physical company's aspect and from their mouse first.
Sure.
So that way it comes from the source, not
Hmm.
just one of us using a machine who's been using it for the last year or so.
Yeah,
Um, so I wanted to get the info straight out from you, and then later on down the road have a Mason on, and that way he can also explain the benefits from a owner operator aspect. So
totally.
I
Yeah.
really feel like you just nailed it, knocked it out of the park today. You relayed the information properly, and it really helped our viewers, watchers, listeners get an idea of what it is that you guys do. Um, so something that we do on this show, and today is the eve of Thanksgiving. We do like to give shout outs, gratitude, thankfulness. Anybody that you'd like, as we wrap up, anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to, somebody that you'd like to say thank you to, tell everybody kick rocks. I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's your chance to shine for a couple seconds and say thank you if you like. So
Sure.
anybody,
No, and I think as a whole, the entire company of Lucid Bots, like I've worked quite a few different jobs over different industries in my life, and I've never worked with a better team, a more connected team. Like this is a group of guys and girls that we go out after work almost every Friday. Everybody goes and grabs a beer. Everybody gets along, and I think it's just one of the most amazing work environments that I've ever been in, and I think it's a really good cause. I think genuinely when you talk to people there, we are trying to make this industry a safer place for people. It's something that our CEO likes to call it like dull, dirty, dangerous jobs that are very hard on people's bodies.
yes,
As you get older, no matter what you're doing in the cleaning industry, it is extremely taxing on your body. And we're not building robots to take these jobs away from people. We're trying to build tools that are allowing these people to extend their careers, to not have these medical complications down the line where your shoulders don't work, your back doesn't work, you got knee problems, or God forbid you had a fall off a roof or some sort of lift equipment that's life altering. So it's been a really really amazing place to work. So I just like to shout out Lucid Bots as a whole.
that's a heck of a shout out. Deeds, before I pitch it over to you real quick, I'm gonna read one more question, but it's
Go for it.
not necessarily a question that needs to be answered. But Cameron, I really hope you guys at Lucid follow this thread and see the questions because later on, throughout the day and throughout the next week or so, people will still continue to follow and pop in on this, read the questions, ask more questions. Mason had another one. Do you have integrated RTK and base stations? And what RTK third party do you use if using a third party? So hopefully you and or someone else can continue to follow this thread because information is key. And if we don't have the
Totally.
answers, we can't get shit done, right? So
Yeah. And I'll
uh,
encourage people too, you can call us direct, like we'll definitely go on and answer a bunch of the questions online
yeah,
too, but like even if you're not in a position to buy today, or, this might be something you consider, a year or 2 years down the line, whatever it may be, you can call us at any time. We'd love to have these conversations with people and, get people accurate information on, the industry as a whole. Because I know there's a lot of questions about it. It's a brand new industry. This is not something that's native to window cleaning or cleaning as a whole. So,
Yeah.
we'd love to help people out with that.
Well, and that was the one thing too that like I didn't want to just have you guys on. Like I wanted to feel you out too. Like I called you guys first, found out what you were about. Then we took a
Mhm.
video call just to make sure that we were on the same page. We're not here to promote people that we don't feel are doing something better for our industry. So after that feeling out period and making sure that you guys also the staff on the ground was solid as well. I wanted to make sure that from top to bottom, your organization was top notch. And
Mhm.
I'm extremely comfortable now stating that you all are a really good organization. So thank you
I
for your
really appreciate that. Yeah, that's awesome to
Hey,
hear.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Deeds, who you got?
I'm just thankful for friends and family. Thank you. Well, thanks first of all for coming on today, Graham or Cameron. It was
Yeah.
good to hear about the industry, where it's going, where you guys are heading, and learn about soft washing or window cleaning with drones and stuff. Yeah, just I want everyone to have a thankful, awesome tomorrow. Be with their family, really enjoy the day off, and experience just not working tomorrow, and then get back to work on Friday.
For sure, for sure. And Deeds, I want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to Kylie, your wife,
My
uh,
wife.
who's been helping us out with the promotion stuff. This whole, late February of 2025 until today has been an awesome journey for us. We started just doing a quick little coffee chat with you and I that's become something a little greater. We're now fortunate enough to interview people from all over our industry, from trad guys, little one-man operation crews to large organizations to helping making our industry a better and a safer place. So thank you to all of our fans and friends who pop in and check out the show. Thank you to WCR, Window Cleaning Resources, who allow us to put our pod out into their forum of 40,000 strong. Thank you to Team Zero. That's
Oh, thank
Zero.
you.
Yeah, thank you to Zero Products. And yeah, just thanks for everybody who keeps kicking ass and checking us out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I
Yeah.
hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Cameron, thank you again for joining us. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank
We'll
you.
see
Of
you on
course. Thank you,
Friday.
Dennis. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. We'll see you guys on Friday, 8:30 Eastern. Our guest is Austin Grubbs from WCR. Deeds, what do you always tell them?
Change your rubbers.
Change your rubbers. I hope your passion is
Change your
overflowing.
batteres.
Change
Change
your
your batteries.
propellers. Yeah, yeah,
Change your
change your
batteries.
batteries. There you
Change your
go.
batteries.
Have
Have
a
a good
great
morning,
day.
guys.
Cam, stay on for 1 second. We'll touch
Sure.
base real quick, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
Have
guys.
a great one, guys.